for the month. We have the sun is in Cancer, and wherever the sun is kind of where our dramas are, where our character gets to be put on display. And having the sun in Cancer may mean that this could be a time of a little bit more drama, interactions in our character, in the way that we shine. In general, it's kind of the summertime, so it's really all about getting out there and being in that state of activity, of being that crab that's on the beach. It's kind of out there, exploring, and full of, and Cancer being ruled by the moon, so there's kind of this waxing and waning of our moods in general. We'll have Mercury is in Auslatia right now. Mercury's moving really quick. He's going full speed. He's going to be in Leo here in about another week, but Mercury in Auslatia, there's a little bit of this frustration that can be present in the way that we think. Mercury represents our mind, our business, the way that we put information together. And Cancer being a very emotionally water-based sign, that can be really frustrating for the mind that just wants information, that just wants context. But here in Cancer, there's so much water, there's so much emotion that it can be really frustrating to our intellectual, cognitive processes. Venus is in Cancer as well, which is a little bit further along than Mercury, but Mercury is going to pass Venus here pretty soon. In fact, they're going to be conjunct here in a little while, which kind of is just more of that. Venus and Mercury represent the way that we communicate with people, the way that we form relationships, the way that we are interacting with each other. So when Venus and Mercury are together, there's this particular feeling of just feeling like we're, especially in the sign of Cancer, it's feeling like people get us, that all of our, as we express ourselves, we are feeling like we're being understood on the intellectual, cognitive area, as well as that emotional. We're feeling like we're connecting, which is a pretty cool thing. I think Mercury and Venus together in Cancer is pretty good for talking it out and feeling like you're heard. So that being said, that's gonna, Mercury is gonna pass Venus here in just like a day or two and be well on its way into Leo by the 27th of July. And when Mercury is in Leo, we're going to start trying to figure out our power structures. And we're going to start really paying attention to to politics in general, and to the way that our mind thinks about our boss, or the people that have the powers. We're going to start trying to understand those aspects of our life. It's a very philosophical time, for sure. So reading Dune, I would totally recommend reading Dune for Mercury and Leo. That would be a wonderful suggestion. Or the Bhagavad Gita. Hey, buddy. Alright, so we have Rahu and Leo. You guys know what that's about. Anybody want to tell me what that's about? That would be so much more interesting.
Lots of ego?
Yeah, totally. A lot of ego. There's a huge power play of ego. There's a huge delusion aspect that's going on. Rahu represents our obsessive compulsive tendencies. It represents smoke and mirrors, delusions. Represents a subconscious need for power and control and dominance. Rahu being there with Jupiter has been crazy. they've been dancing together for about 10 months now, which has been pretty much the whole extent of the nominee, or the, what do we call that? The primaries? Primaries. It's been like the last 10 months. So everything that we've seen politically has been Rahu and Jupiter conjunct. And in your life, in your individual life, it's probably going to manifest as a confusion around your teachers, all sorts of things. Just kind of not knowing. There's an illusion, smoke and mirrors. You don't really know what's real. And you're not going to know it's real until Jupiter gets a little further away. And Jupiter kind of represents our belief systems. And so because our belief systems are with Rahu, we're not really understanding what it is that we really believe in. Like it's diluted. There's a slumber, an unconsciousness. And even though we think we know what we believe in, it's confused. It's confused. So Jupiter's going to move into Virgo on the 9th of August, and that's going to end the confusion. Jupiter, our beliefs, what we believe in, is going to take on more practical matters than who we believe in. It's no longer going to be about big ideas that we believe in, or power structures, or anything like that. It's going to be about what can I do practically every day to experience more harmony. And that will be awesome, because Virgo is all about practicality. It's all about what we're doing to run the kingdom, like how to maintain ourselves. And having Jupiter there, it kind of cuts that connection that it has with Rahu, and then it's also going to help us believe in those things. Believe that we need to go to yoga every day, or do our practices, do our sadhana, do our work. Really get in deep. I definitely, and this is going to last for another year and a few months when Jupiter moves into Leo. So this is going to be, when Jupiter moves into Virgo, which is the sign of the healer in general, Virgo in general. So I would imagine this next year and a few months we're going to see huge advances in the way that we do healthcare in the country. I believe that we will see more insurance companies getting involved in more maintenance and preventative healthcare, and like assigning, maybe coming up with like something, in between doctor or whatever, that supervises a community of people. Kind of, I predict that we kind of look at what's going on in Cuba and kind of start modeling things after that a little bit. That would be my prediction. If anybody knows what's going on in Cuba, but there's basically a doctor or somebody that takes care of a whole community of people, a city block of people. You have a doctor that's looking after them, that's encouraging them to be aware of things like, exercise, and be aware of different opportunities that they can take. So I see a lot more, as Jupiter moves into Virgo, a lot more interest in the healthcare industry in general, and motivating people to take care of themselves, to exercise, to go to yoga class, to sign up for the acupuncture clinics and things like that. So you heard it here first. I mean, it's already kind of happening, but it's going to really hit the mainstream here in a bit. That will be good for me. So if anybody's been really frustrated with me at all for any reason, just wait until Jupiter is solid in Virgo, and then and maybe until Mars passes Saturn, and then maybe we'll see something different. Maybe. All right. Well, so that brings us to Mars in Scorpio, which generally feels good. Mars is our wanting to go and do stuff, and maybe in the last 2 weeks you felt that drive, that remotivating spark that's like, yes, I'm gonna freaking do this. Like, I'm gonna hike this mountain, I'm gonna ride this bike, I'm gonna climb, hike this trail. whatever it is, maybe you felt re-inspired. And it's still coming up against a lot of fear of consequences, a lot of anxieties, a lot of like really serious things that are at play. This is freaking serious here. And so while Mars wants to act, there's still that like, this is really serious stuff. And so maybe it's coming out as anger in general. Maybe it's coming out in violence. Maybe it's you're finding yourself erupting emotionally because you're meeting that energy, that vital spark of is meeting boundaries, is meeting heavy, stern boundaries. There's resistance, and so it's building up, and sometimes it's exploding. And like, and you can think of Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign. It's a really deep sign, and it's static. It's not moving water. It's totally. Jupiter's been falling on me all day. It's nimitta, which means omen, and it's probably not a good one, but that's okay.
Is Jupiter going that way in the chart?
Yeah, Jupiter. All the planets move clockwise. The only things that move counterclockwise are the ecliptics, Rahu and Ketu. And right, so lately I've been all about watching Pink Floyd's The Wall. It was a lot of people's homework assignments before today to watch it came, but I don't see any of those people I gave that assignment to here today. But maybe they did. And did I give you that assignment?
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I got halfway through today.
Right.
I did my best.
But yeah, so the last time that Saturn was in Scorpio was the time that the movie The Wall came out, and Saturn, and so you'll see. So there was all that talk at that time about, and just the theme of that generation was like very much inspired by that movie The Wall. It was like, we don't need no education, you know, and all those thoughts of like. These repressive boundaries that were being faced in our consciousness at that time. We had just gone from this really freeing, liberating decade or 2 decades, and then we got into this really repressive, restrictive, conservative type of mentality in the 80s or late 70s, really. And that was all this like Saturn constrictive energy. Anyway, definitely watch the movie The Wall. You'll see a lot of like correlations with the energy of that movie and what's going on at the Trump rallies and all sorts of things.
And watch it to Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, watch it
Sound and then watch it to Alice in
Are you
Wonderland.
serious?
No, he's kidding.
Sounds amazing.
That was the worst idea I've ever had in my life. But
It's on the TV. No, turn the wall up. But the TV. Have you guys ever done that?
And
So-
yeah, it's the old stoner trick.
It's so
Come on.
So anyway, The Wall, so you can hear Trump talk about it all the time. I'm going to build a wall. It's going to be the biggest, highest wall ever. And he's always talking about this very decisive rhetoric, very like, I'm not going to let them into our country. This is our place. There's a lot of people that are trying to like defend something like it's theirs. And they're so set in their beliefs. They're so solid. They're so frozen, which is that Saturn over that deep stagnant water. It's frozen solid. Like that's the effect that Saturn's having on those deep. And really, it's that water that is our expression. It's our creativity. It's our vital energy. Yeah. So right now, that's kind of at this almost this peak moment in life where we're feeling as about as confined behind these boundaries, these walls, at this time of our life, as I think, realistically, everybody's pretty scared about what the future is going to bring. And that is that Saturn energy. So Mars is coming, and so Saturn's been freezing the lake. Mars is going to come and explode the lake and bust it open. and it's going to get into the deeper waters that are not frozen at the bottom. And so those emotions are going to flow. And that's really what's going to happen August 15th through September 18th, or through September 16th. Is this great pouring of emotions, and it will be closed with that. There'll be a lunar eclipse that kind of marks the close of that cycle, September 16th.
So then it's supposed to get better?
Well, we're done with that purge of deep emotion that's been stuck and building for the last 2 years. 2 years, this like very like compressed, walled off, frustrating, repressive energy will be exploded. Yeah. So who knows what that means, right? Like, is that good? Is that bad? It's probably both.
But it's different.
It's different.
It's gonna be different.
It's gonna be different. End of the world, beginning, it's all getting better. It's all being destroyed. Yep. So, and that's kind of what's going on. So, I think that's it. I think I covered it. This is going to be conjunct exactly on, do you remember what I said, Chad? I think it was August 15th. There was something August 27th.
Yeah.
What was that?
I thought it was
August
July
27th.
27th.
August 27th? That's your birthday, man.
Well, I know it's my birthday, but there was something.
And kirtan.
Oh, yeah. And there's a kirtan potluck here, August 27th. Come
That guy.
7 o'clock at night.
Bhakti, Kamal, Tiara, Maharaj.
Yeah, Tiara Maharaj. Yeah, awesome.
He's coming to Maui too.
No way.
Twice, yeah. They're awesome, yeah.
So August 27th marks when Mars is no longer conjunct with Saturn.
August 27th.
That's the day that Mars will pass out of 3 degrees of Saturn. So that's when that's the peak. And that's my birthday. Crazy. And Venus and Jupiter and Mercury will all be conjunct in Virgo that day. Oh my gosh. My birthday is a big
It's
day.
gonna be interesting.
Venus,
Whoa.
Mercury, and
Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter will all be conjunct in Virgo. So Mercury will be in its own home. Jupiter will be there. Yes.
Oh, I just have a question.
Yes.
So you know how you said Mercury moving into Leo, it's like we'll know like how we feel when Rock is there too. What like wins, I guess?
Well, Mercury moving into Leo is kind of like an intellectual, like grasping of like kind of these. Leo's very much about like hierarchical structures of power.
Okay. And then but Rock is there too, so it's kind of like a
Yeah, whatever you learn, whatever Mercury teaches you is not necessarily going to be something that's real with Rahu there.
that's what it is, okay.
So, I mean, yeah, there's going to be that going on, but it's not like really planets lose. Rahu sucks up the positive energy from any planet that it's next to, and it distorts it and projects it.
Okay. Okay. And then Venus being there too, that would be like even more of that, right?
Right, yeah.
In like a pretty way, I guess. you could
So
say.
this would be like a seducing.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
totally. Like,
or controlling, whatever.
yeah, so you might see it in like all of a sudden we're like wowed by some politician or something, and like somebody saying all the right words and making you feel like you're heard and being understood, but it would still be like this kind of delusionary nature.
And then is that even further with the sun being there too?
wait.
Yeah, totally.
So it's
So
like
this is
really
going to be a big crux. Like as everybody moves past Rahu over the next month and a half, it's going to be really huge politically. Any places where there's power structures.
Bernie's gonna come back, man.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? This could also, be aliens coming from outer space to talk into Trump's ear or
Could it
something.
be like people rising up?
Well-
Revolting?
So it's things that are unexpected, and I wouldn't say so much the people rising up and revolting. That might be happening, but it wouldn't have anything to do with this guy. It would have everything to do with that over there. And
I'm
K2
just thinking
and
of
Aquarius.
the sun.
What's that?
Rocket Coil is like Trump.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking of the sun, because isn't it like if planets are too close to the sun, it can like,
Combust.
burn
So
out.
when that happens, there's an eclipse.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like a full-on combust. It's
Yeah.
like the full blacking out
The light bulbs.
of awareness. It's like there's no protection. There's no divine guidance. It's like the abyss of nothing, of infinite potential. It's like where the possibility of anything can come from. But it doesn't have any sort of divine goodness inherent, Atman. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's like a
It's like
black
coming
hole.
from a place of corrupted power.
Right. It's like the hand of Sauron. That's all I can say. It's the ring of power.
Rockers.
Yeah. And out of that whole, tragedy of the Lord of the Rings, really beautiful things happen. Like Samwise and Frodo, they love each other so much. And that came out of the dark hand, of Sauron. So it makes things possible. It's essential for the evolution of our consciousness. But there's no inherent goodness here. Right. So, any other questions?
You just didn't talk about the moon, Katie.
The moon. The moon is in Pisces right now, Uttarabhadapad, which is the later bounded feet of a funeral casket. So they used to wrap the feet before they buried people back in the day.
Why would they do
So they can't run away.
Alright. I'm sure that's significant, and I should know. But it represents the Lord of Uttarabhadapad is Yama, which means restraint. So right now, today, has been a day where we're learning there's a surrender, there's a moksha, there's a liberation in that, there's a death, and then there's also a learning of a restraint. It's that's the theme of our emotional mind, is learning a restraint. Any other questions? K2. Oh, K2. So K2 has been doing what it's been doing. It's been lonely, for a while, and I guess that's why I leave it out, because this has really been where the focus is, which is the sun. The sun is where our focus is, where our awareness is. But K2 has been really destroying in Aquarius. Aquarius represents the people and how the people gather and the way that the people gather. And K2's just been demolishing the ways that people gather. I think within this last year, since K2 has been in Aquarius, we've seen the rise of unconventional ways of people getting together. I mean, meetup groups have been pretty big, but now they're beyond. They're exploded, and your yoga studio is not your typical yoga studio that it was 10 years ago. And things are different in the way that people gather lately. Yes.
I'm also thinking about some of the shootings that have happened in the last few months.
Right.
They've been in places of community. They've been in places like assemblies or
Right.
nightclubs or disturbing or a truck going through a crowd of people.
Totally. That's absolutely all of that is K2 type stuff in Aquarius.
And that's kind of trying to defeat something that we're
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Such media too.
So that's kind of what's happening in Aquarius. It means, it's absolutely destroyed the Republican Party, and it will never be the same. I'm guarantee. I'm pretty sure the Democratic Party is also going to be destroyed now that.
Well, it's their convention this week.
Yeah, we'll see it happen, and it will definitely happen by this next lunar eclipse that happens in Aquarius on September 16th. We'll see that we will have seen it happen. Whatever is going to happen, there'll be more of it that happens. We'll only be halfway through the cycle of Rahu and Ketu in these places, but it will be the end of this particular cycle. Another thing, the whole shootings thing, that all happened when Mars was stationary in between Libra and Scorpio. So anytime a planet is in between signs, it's like uranium. It's not a stable element. Anything is possible. It gets really disturbed and can like erupt violently. So as it was stationary, that was when we first started really seeing a lot of that escalation in violence and police violence and the protests. I can't remember exactly. I wish I had written these things down, exactly what happened those days. But
well, I think one of the days was when that guy, like the sniper, sniped all those policemen in Dallas.
yeah, that was like the day that like Mars moved into Scorpio.
There was
You're
just
talking
one
about
4 days ago. There was just another.
Yeah,
They shot that guy that was laying with his hands in the
you're
air.
right.
And they asked the cop why, and he's like, I don't know.
So that's all been what's been building for the last 8 months. And now we're coming to the peak of what's been building. And the closer that Mars gets to Saturn, the more things are going to explode. It's going to be the comet crashing into the frozen lake, and it's going to be tearing down the wall. Tear down the wall.
Well, I mean, just the combination of all these things is really like a recipe for social disrupt and
Right.
like political transformation.
It can be scary. I mean, I personally kind of see a rise of the neo-Nazi in America as a possibility. There's a lot of possibilities. But because as soon as Mars moves past Saturn, he's going to go into Sagittarius. And so that's going to be our vital energy that's taking action in a sign of like what we believe in. And yeah. And it won't be that bad because, well, Jupiter will be in Virgo then. If Jupiter had still been in Leo, definitely neo-Nazi.
Yeah, it'd be really
For
bad.
sure. But,
You lost me.
so it could be us really like, it could be a lot of things. But we'll
Leo
see.
is like the ruler, is like the king, and so it's more likely to be
Right.
like more domineering.
In Libra.
Yeah. It's very egotistical.
Yeah, and like scales.
Right.
Because Rahu will still be there. Right?
Judgments.
Rahu's still going to be there, but Jupiter's ruled by, or Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So
Yeah.
Jupiter being in Virgo and more focused on like healing, and then our Mars, our vital energy, moving into Sagittarius,
We'll be like acting off that.
acting on that healing aspect.
But if Jupiter was in Leo during that time, it'd be with Rahu and then just create
Right.
total chaos and
Yeah,
people
I think
thinking
we're pretty
right.
fortunate that Jupiter is
Yeah, oh my
moving
God.
into that.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
It's true.
So I guess I kind of take that whole neo-Nazi bet back because I didn't really think about that until just barely. But
When does Mars move into Sagittarius?
so that will happen October 1st. And let's see, at least I'm pretty sure, about-ish. I can find out for sure. One second. Just to be sure.
When's our next eclipse?
Okay, no, I was totally wrong. I'm sorry, Anna. The 18th is when Mars moves into Sagittarius.
October.
October 18th. Oh my gosh. So Jupiter will be in Virgo, about healing. And then when Mars moves into Sagittarius on September 18th. Did I say October?
October.
I meant September.
September 18th, Mars on the Sagittarius.
Yeah, crazy. What's going on September 18th?
We're
Oh,
Maui.
there's a Maui retreat.
Retreat
Ayurveda,
from-
yoga, Vedic
You
astrology.
get food every day.
Yeah, it's 6 days, or 6 nights, 7 days. Ayurvedic meals. It will be a cleanse, a panchakarma, purification, a renewification.
108 sun salutations on top of a volcano.
108 sun salutations on top of Haleakala. Kirtan will have a holy man giving lectures on the Bhagavad Gita, which is really what this whole play is. This is the Bhagavad Gita. There's Arjuna and Krishna-ish, because Krishna is
Blue.
well, yes, Krishna is blue, but you know, as much as he is Arjuna's advisor, he's also every issue Arjuna has ever had is Krishna. That is Saturn. He is our advisor, and he's also all of our issues and problems. But he gives us wisdom and makes things worth it. Anything else? Is that it?
When's their next eclipse?
Maui is going to be the next eclipse, the 18th.
Oh, it's 18th too?
No, the eclipse is the 16th.
Oh.
And then that's the lunar eclipse. 2 weeks before that, there's a solar eclipse. One sec, I'll give you the date. The next solar eclipse in Leo. So this will be the height of the political stuff. This will be the fruit of whatever we're seeing politically will happen on this day. At least until the actual presidential election. So the solar eclipse is on the solar eclipse is on the 1st of September. 1st of September.
And then there's another lunar eclipse on September 13th.
What's that?
And then there's a lunar eclipse on September 13th.
Yeah, on September 8th, 16th.
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 First or
Might be the 15th, but it's pretty close.
16th.
September is a busy month.
September 15th.
So really this whole next 60-day cycle is going to blow everybody. It's the most intense thing I've ever seen astrologically. This is the perfect storm. And I've been looking at the stars for at least 8 years now. And this is the best storm I ever saw.
The perfect storm.
We get to watch.
All right. Have a good day. I think I destroyed your